Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here today with Paper Rose, and welcome back, thank you. We are going to feature this beautiful border die, and you'll see what I mean that it is a border die. It is called the Blossom Border Metal Die. I'm going to use my favorite sentiment, the Hello Chunky Layered, and this is part of the pattern paper that we're going to be using. And what I mean by part, that piece that just slid up on my camera there, that's going to be our background. But I'm also going to use some of my scraps for my sentiment. Here I'm just showing you all of the beautiful patterns that come in this set. It's a beautiful blue watercolor, and then it's got pops of other colors and a little bit of gold through it as well. To set up my pieces, I'm going to use those scrap pieces of cardstock for the background of my sentiment, and I'm going to die cut the hello part of the sentiment out of white cardstock. The panel that I'm die cutting the border die on is 6 by 6. It's going to cover the entire front of my card. To give it a little bit of dimension, I'm going to be using that whole 6 by 6 piece of the pattern paper as well. It'll just give it a little bit of a step. I have my pieces die cut, and I'm just pulling them from my plates. And I'm going to die cut the hello a couple times just to give that a little bit of more of a dimension. And I am going to add more dimension to the background, the shadow part of my sentiment. You saw when I took this piece off with the die, the large border die, I looked at the back. I wanted to make sure that my cuts went through my paper before I removed it. And it's not difficult to get your die cuts out. This panel would be gorgeous in many ways. I'm just going to accent it by putting those watercolor stripes behind it. This would be a beautiful piece for die cut inlay. The image that you get, these blossoms, are absolutely gorgeous, and they're very detailed, meaning they have fine lines. So you do want to take your time removing those die cut pieces just so that you don't break the way that it's connected. So it's connecting both pieces. Now you can see up on top I had to tear a little bit, but we're going to be trimming that away, so that's okay. It's an absolutely gorgeous image that's going across. So this is why this is called a border die. You could just have it on the edge of your cardstock, or you can do what I'm doing here and just creating two sides. I'm going to layer these two together. I'm going to use my double-sided tape, and I'm going to use glue behind the floral part of this die cut, just to make sure that it's held down onto the piece of pattern paper that I will be using. I'm then going to, once I remove the release paper, I'm going to line this panel up against the pattern paper, meaning I'm going to line it up along the bottom of that. This way, then I will know where to cut along the top, just to make it completely open. I don't want any of the cardstock to go along the top. And you can see where I tore those edges, you can see this white just hanging out a little bit. I did try this with my scissors. I just didn't think that I got an as straight of a cut as what I would want. So I am going to pull in my paper trimmer, line that up, and I'm just going to remove a very small part along that edge to make it completely even. I've got a little smudge there, and I'm just rubbing that off. I'm going to use my liquid glue to put this onto my 6x6 card base. And now I'm just going to set that aside and work on my sentiment. So I have the white layer behind the blue pattern paper. And then I had already layered up the two layers of hello. And then I'm just going to place that right on top of the shadow. I'm going to set this down a little bit on the right hand side. using my liquid adhesive, and then I'm going to come in with some gemstones. These are dark blue sapphires, and we're just going to put those in the center of the flowers, the ones that are open, and then I'll be adding 3 around the sentiment. And you can see this card comes together in no time, and it's got a beautiful effect with those brush strokes going on behind it. I hope you enjoyed today's products. Remember, the products that I use will be listed down below. If you have any questions, leave those down below along with your comments. Let me know if you like that. Hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. But most important, always be creative, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.